is that all I gotta do? I think it's all set up. Delay starting in 10 seconds. Hi, yay. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live. It says it's...
Isn't this like Bobby Lee's like horror of a girlfriend or...
Oh no. Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, but no. Tulsi Gabbard is the Hawaiian senator.
Oh, okay. She looks kind of like that girl.
She does. She really does.
I thought that was her.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. That's funny.
Okay.
That's funny. I never
see
thought of that. Yeah, I liked Tulsi. She said some iffy things about the Second Amendment and stuff. But she just left the Democratic Party. She's an independent now.
Good for her. Oh, okay. I think I heard about her recently.
Yeah. I mean, I will take genuine over like a liar that I agree with. So, and I find her to be genuine. So let's see what this is. I don't know what this is. I haven't watched this.
A nuclear war could break out. We are staring over the precipice of that nuclear brink now more than ever before. Nuclear war in World War III could be imminent. Total destruction of the planet.
Holy shit.
Is imminent.
Yeah, I'm concerned about all that, but you're so pretty though.
Have you seen this guy's videos before? He cuts interviews and makes them really awkward. You might have seen
him. I thought this was a straight shot.
No, he does this with Alex Jones and Jordan Peterson, and like he'll just take interviews and chop it so it's really awkward, and that's his shtick. Some of them are pretty funny, but I'm not sure about this one yet.
Excuse me. I'm going to ask you a difficult question. What about oral sex?
What? What's wrong with you?
I mean, it would be wonderful.
A nuclear war could break out, and you're talking about sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
all right.
Matt?
Yeah, he's pretty funny. So my recommended... Whoa. Oh, Theo Vaughn. There we go. My recommended I'm on the Camp Divvy page, and all the recommendeds are all messed up because I love Theo Vaughn.
You know that's really weird.
What's weird? How so?
Think that things are getting shady and weird.
You can hear the audio though? Audio's good on your side?
I can, but when we start talking, it gets weird with the video. That's all.
Okay. Oh, I think I know why. So we're just doing like a test live video here, viewers, because we're gonna do some things a little different in the future. We're gonna be doing some live streams. So no filters there. Desktop audio.
Get ready, live audience.
Doing it live. So
John's not fast enough to catch all my F-bombs, so you got that to look forward to.
That's true. I should have a woof, on. Oh, my noise suppression is off, so it's not that.
You should just have a button ready to push whenever it seems like I'm about to swear, and you can just be like, woof, 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 woof.
That'd be tough to catch. Like, oh, he's always woofing me right when I get to my point. So it might be, you know what? It might be in Discord. So Discord has a different noise suppression setup situation program. And I know how OBS's works. I'm not sure about Discord yet. And and so it's just something that's running that, takes things out of the background, like dogs barking and stuff. echo cancellation. Okay, noise suppression. Let's just turn it off for now. That'll definitely help. So, because what's happening is the program thinks there's noise that's not voice. It's basically trying to cancel anything that's not a voice. And so when you start playing a video over it, it gets all confused. It sounds weird. So try this.
Fucking confused computers.
Woof, woof.
Story of my life.
All right. I did want to see this. I think this will be a good one for our little test here. I love him so much. George Martin is dear to my heart. And this is the author of Game of Thrones and Fire and Blood, the prequel 2 books that are about the Targaryen dynasty. And he's an old like sci-fi writer. I think his real love is sci-fi over fantasy. Game of Thrones was his like adventure into fantasy, but he wrote with the team during the 80s run of Twilight Zone. So he's written some classic television sci-fi back in the day, and a lot of novels, a lot of sci-fi novels. And then he was like, I'm going to give fantasy a try. I want to do different than Tolkien. Tolkien's world is good versus evil. I want my world to be gray, more realistic, more how people really are, and not so black and white. So he wrote Game of Thrones. I think the first one came out in 92. So anyways, yeah, love this.
This
guy.
is my first time seeing him.
Oh, cool.
And so I couldn't picture him. But he looks like a very friendly, like steamboat captain.
Yes,
maybe.
Yes.
I can kind of see that. So
yeah,
he looks like a cool character. Even if I didn't know he was George R.R. Martin, I'd be like, hell yeah, this guy.
If you met him, like you would really like him. You'd really like him, as opposed to other authors like Stephen King or, he's just he friendly is a good word for it. I think he is friendly. He has a soft heart for the criticism.
Okay.
Hi.
So yeah, like I just, which makes me think of he's getting a lot of criticism for years now because he won't finish the second to last book of the game. The Song of Ice and Fire, the series of books Game of Thrones is based on, is not finished. There's still 2 books, and he's been working on the second to last one for 6 years or 7 years. And then he still has a whole nother book. And so he's been getting a lot of grief for it. And I feel bad for him. I really want that book to come out. I'm really looking forward to it. I just feel bad though. I feel bad. I think the Game of Thrones run really messed with his head. He said he never,
it's a lot for anyone.
I can't imagine what a weird thing to contend with. You already have, he had a fan base. He had a lot of people buying and reading the books and loving the books. And then you have a show come out, and then the show passes you in the story and finishes, which he said he never imagined would happen at the rate he was writing. But the reason people have animosity, though, is because he keeps picking up side projects. That's what it is. It's not that he's at home just like,
hatching up the story.
Yeah, it's not really that. Like, he has the story all laid out, and he keeps picking up side projects. He wrote these 2 prequel books about the Targaryens, and he wrote... You should see, actually, there's a list of all the stuff he's worked on since the last book came out. And that's why people get upset, because they're like, dude, we invested hundreds of hours reading your books in this story, and now you're doing like writing lore for video games and novellas and all sorts of stuff, speaking engagements all over the world. And so I have a soft spot for him. I feel for him because I can't imagine just the mindset it would take for him to finish these books after all of the exterior factors are playing on him, and it's a hard spot. But so
he's probably got people advising him to do these other projects because they're opportunities to jump on, and he can always go back to that. Like, it might be like he might have advisors who are literally telling him to do that.
I
Fans aside
yeah.
for his business.
I think that is true. I think there's a
his
whole
brand,
Yes. Yep. He has a brand. So he wrote the lore and some of the background business and some of the characters for Elden Ring, that video game that came out 5 or 6 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So a brand is a good word for it because he stamped his name on that, and that sold many more copies than it would have without him. So, but you're right though. He does have a team, and particularly with Game of Thrones, he has a self-described very autistic young man working with him who is the guy. He's like, what was it that Bran was eating in the cave in the fifth book? There was something, and he's like, page 72, it was a pumpernickel pie, and he was with, and it was, in the third paragraph of the page. You know what I mean? He has this memory that he is a living.
I want one of these people.
Yeah. Everyone could use one of these. We'll get him soon. It'll be some kind of AI thing, but he's got a real living person who he is. I think he's literally living next door. Like he moved there. He he met George. They hit it off. He, obviously was a fan of the books, and he had these amazing abilities. So George hired him to be an assistant, and he, basically lives next to him. So he has all these people around him who are really talented, and he knows if he passes away. He's also said if he happens to pass away before the books are finished, they will be finished by ghostwriters who were close to him and knew what he wanted, and they have the manuscripts and the plans, and so it'll happen. It's just even with House of the Dragon, we can see that there's lines in that show that I know he wrote. They're just so good. He's just such a phenomenal writer. It sticks out. And the House of the Dragon writers are really talented too, but there's certain lines in it I'm just like, I know George wrote that. It's it's just next level. J.K. Rowling was like that. Reading I dove into Harry Potter earlier this year, read the first one, and right away in the first chapter, it's just like, this is another level. I've read a lot of competent authors, but this is something special. Everything's like that.
Sure.
Directors, musicians, they're all dime a dozen, but once in a while somebody sticks out and they're just, it's next level, top tier, as we call it here at Camp Divvy, top tier. So this would be kind of cute. We got a little George reading some fan questions.
Dragons character. Was it House of Dragons?
I think it's both. Yeah.
Both? Okay.
I'm going to guess this is both. Yeah.
That's still an interesting one. I guess, I'm tempted to say Damien because he's interesting, but he's also dangerous. So I don't know if I would choose him. That's a hard one, honestly, especially in this new season. I guess I would say my answer would be maybe Jake, because he seems like a reasonable character who owns a dragon, and there's a chance I could meet his dragon.
You just want to meet the dragon, whatever gets you to the dragon. Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. That's a good one. He seemed like a cool kid. He'd probably show you around the castle, and he would show you the dragon.
Yeah, good natured.
Show off the dragon.
Very good natured guy.
Yeah, Jake's a good answer. I had a similar train of thought where I thought Damon, because he's probably interesting and stuff, but he'd probably be standoffish. He probably wouldn't really engage very much if he was just meeting a couple random guys for dinner. Like, I don't know. It's
right.
Like, oh, my agent made me do this. I didn't want to.
And there's literally a chance that at any time he'll just kill you because he's bored or like something comes up.
The gold cloaks come in. Like, oh no, like rapist.
Cut your head off.
Huh.
If I was to.
That's funny he said that. I wouldn't have guessed that with Tyrion, that he would be like dangerous to be around. Daemon, I totally agree. Tyrion,
Tyrion kind of takes the reins though multiple times in the story. He is definitely not someone to be trifled with.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
But I think it's more like for a reason though.
Right.
I don't think.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not like an off-color joke or something like Damon. Like
I think George is thinking like, well, then I'm in this world. So who am I with? So that's why he's saying like, what's the situation? You know, because like, that would depend. I can see why he says that because like depending on who he's to the Lannisters,
there could be a lot going on. Yeah. Yep. That's true. That's interesting. It's so interesting. It's like so real to him. Like the way he's talking about it. It's like, you go to Paris, you get the croissants in Paris are unreal, and you're like, you must have been in Paris and eaten them before. Like, no, he just says that. It's funny the way he talks about it.
He hangs in Westeros a lot, I bet.
Yeah, it must be interesting. So, when are we going on? Like 30 years? 30 years or more. So over 30 years, because if the first book came out in 92, he was definitely writing it for 5-6 years, building the world. And he said he had a lot of the history laid out before he started the narrative of Game of Thrones, the first book. So, it's 35 years he's been thinking about this, right? Is my math right? Yeah.
I think so.
92 first book came
We'll
out.
have someone chat fact check that. Okay. Let us know.
No, we don't need fact checking comments. Okay. We don't need that here. I'm going as far as to say we won't allow that here. Like if we make a mistake here, you let it slide. Okay.
Don't even let it slide. Just make it the new truth.
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't have to be what's right.
That's how we
but
do
it's
it
right
here.
now. Okay.
Yes.
The inn on a trident and see what Hot Pie was whipping up.
Hot Pie was Arya's buddy who they were on the road together when they were kind of like prisoners of that little group of bandits, and she bumps into him later in the story too. He's making pies. But Hot Pie,
go figure.
Little chubby kid.
Oh snap.
Oh, George, you rascal.
This guy. Wow.
Yeah.
What an answer.
My mind didn't go there at any point. This is like the foot fetish thing. It's like, whoa, this opens up a whole new world.
I wonder if he's picturing the actress Shay or like his imagination of Shay.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Because he imagined her before they had an actress play as her.
Right, for sure.
So is he complimenting the actress right now? Because like after the show, he was just like, oh my God, Shay? Or is he literally like kind of fascinated with that character in his imagination as well?
Maybe. Because Tyrion is really close to his heart for sure. So maybe he gave him like his fantasy girl. I don't know. That's interesting though. Yeah.
She is great. I like her too.
That would be my fan question is when you think of Shay, do you think of the actress or your imagined Shay?
Yeah. Good fan question. We should send it to him.
Yeah. I liked Shay. She was cool. She was interesting. It was a sad end. He doesn't kill her in the books. I forget what happens. It's similar. It's a similar situation, but it's not. She doesn't betray him in the book, and then he strangles her. That's how it happens in the show. But in the book, it's something more like she's being like blackmailed, and I don't know. It does have to do with Tywin, the pops. But yeah, I bet there was one character. I wish we had more Bran. I could use more Bran.
I wanted more Ned Stark, honestly.
Oh, yeah, actually.
I like Ned Stark a lot.
That's a good answer. That's a good one. I'll switch that. Yeah. Like
especially in the book, like just that beginning with Ned executing that criminal.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't want to. He believes the man won't do it again. He understands why he did it.
Yeah.
He knows the man is faithful, wise, but he genuinely feels like the correct way to keep order and to preserve order is to execute the laws that they have, and he himself has to do it. He believes to show like the people that he like believes in his laws, and there's like weight behind them. It's like meaningful in the book. That was such a good. He was such a good leader of the North. I really like
with his sons by his side too. Yeah,
for sure. The whole family, his wife too. She was a good character, a strong character in it as well.
Oh
good
yeah,
counsel. All of that.
Yeah, great duo. Yeah, that's a good answer. I would love some prequel Ned. Maybe him when he's
Oh,
younger.
hell yeah.
Yeah, with meeting. I'm spacing on her name at the moment, but Mama Stark. That would be cool. That'd be cool.
Or like them spelunking around with Robert Baratheon.
Ooh.
Like warring it up, like pillaging a little bit, like whatever they used to do, like
spelunking
I don't know.
Spelunking with Bob. I wonder.
That's what they make it sound like when they get together. They're like, bro, that was fun. Like,
it's true. Yeah, Robert's always reminiscent about it. I wonder if that's where House of Dragons will end, or if they're gonna stick closer with the Targaryen lineage, and then it seems like the show is going to be another success if it keeps up with the writing. So maybe they'll save that. Could be its own thing. Some Stark, Baratheon, the War of the Five Kings. No, that's not the War of the Five Kings. Robert's Rebellion. Robert's Rebellion. That'd be cool. More Ned. That's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah.
In fact,
he could have his own spin-off show. You mentioned that at one point. But like a spin-off series, like maybe they finish this right before
I'm wondering that
war that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like everything that leads up to the last one is its own other series, and it would be around maybe the Stark family and the Baratheons.
Because there's just so much you could do with it. Yeah. There's so much you could do with it. Young Tywin. I think we'll have a young Tywin Lannister in this show, because he's going to be around for a while. We're going to have some bleeding into Game of Thrones in some ways, and I'm just wondering, what you're saying, if they'll.
It could be.
It just seems like it'll serve this show more if they just focus on the Targaryens and finish that off, and then do something else. We'll see.
Now George R.R. Martin looks like a drunken sailor. What's going on in his head? Like that things are building. Like you just see it in his eyes when he's talking here. It's funny.
And then having to stop that at points, like he's saying, like he could just have his imagination go in all those directions all the time, and he's always got to restrict it and focus it in a way. It's really interesting. It's really. There's a story of. I want to get this right. I'm going to look this up. It's interesting. It's two authors who meet, and it was a Russian. It's not Solzhenitsyn. Dostoevsky. He meets a Western epic author, and the Western one, I can't remember who it was. It was like Dickens or somebody. It was a meeting of two minds, something like that. It might have been Thoreau, but so he meets Dostoevsky and says, so what's it like having somebody's voice in your head all the time? Because thinking like we'll bond over this. And Dostoevsky says, only one? You only have one voice in your head? And like the response was like, because he had many characters in his head all the time, and they were like talking to him, and they were so real to him. And it's just it's interesting to me, the mind of an author. It's just mysterious, and I just wonder what it's like. You must be kind of a kook, and he's an older man, so we're seeing somebody who's kind of like learned to live with some of that. He's married, he's got a little house, and he's settled with a small town life. He never moved to LA. He didn't buy a mansion. He just wanted to have like a simple life. And obviously he's enjoying the success too, and he gets to speak to people and meet people, and he is in Hollywood now, but he still lives in his little small town home. That's
pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool. but I just wonder. I wonder what that's like. It must be frustrating at times. You know, he must have periods of mania and just all sorts of
Must
much.
be a lot of pressure. The success must make a lot of pressure. I always thought the same thing about J.K. Rowling. You mentioned earlier. It's just you know, after the success of the first, especially the first one, but then even like each one was still successful, but the plan was like 7 books, and like just knowing that she had to keep up with that level of like expectation and like
exceeding it even.
Yeah, and that it was going to affect the first one, like just, you know, like any story, if you're finishing it poorly, it can ruin the beginning, you know, like so it just seems like a lot of pressure on these super writers.
Yeah, super writers. It's a good word for it. There, you were involved with Harry Potter from the beginning. That blew up like right away, right? Yeah. Even the first one was a success.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I think I started reading, and I, you know, fact checkers, go ahead, but I don't remember how long the book was out when I started reading it, but I know I was 11 when I read it. So I don't know if the book had been out for that long, but it was already very popular. A kid down the street, mom was reading it to their family. And she read it.
Ooh, your voice just your voice has been a little choppy. It was worst just then. I think you're back now.
Okay.
There it is.
All right. So yeah, but I heard about the first one, read the first one when I was 11. Harry was 11, so it was great.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like every year the new one came out within a year. So I was reading it when I was 12.
That's
the second
cool.
one, 13.
That's cool.
Third,
yeah.
and he was a year older, so it was really cool. It was only like, I want to say the 6th one took her a couple of years, or it might have been the 7th. But one of the last ones, you know, I was a year older, but it was a pretty cool experience. And yeah, like you said, it is like another level. Her writing is incredible. The characters are just off the charts, like realistic. It's hard to like imagine that they're not even real.
That's funny. That's where you went with it, though, because that's exactly what I think. That's how I felt about Bob Dylan when I got into him, which wasn't until I was 18. My girlfriend introduced me to him, and well, I had a previous girlfriend introduce me to him with 1 or 2 songs, and it just didn't hit me. And then my girlfriend after high school showed me Blonde on Blonde, and I just listened to it from front to back, and it just totally blew my mind. So I really, really got into him. I was reading all of his books and books about him and the books he wrote, and I just felt like he was not fully human, honestly. Like, it's just, you know, to write Tambourine Man when you're 18 or 19 years old in the back of your friend's car, just like driving some back road, it just didn't seem real to me. And it was like, nowadays we have a weird situation where we have young songwriters and stuff, and it's not all them. Like, I mean, to be honest, I don't know how much of Taylor Swift's success is Taylor Swift. And I'm hesitant to say that publicly. Like, I would say that to you in private, but like, I'm a little hesitant because I don't want to take away what somebody has worked for. But like, at the same time, I know there's been a lot of writers who have worked with her on her songs, and there's like people who make her clothes and, you know, all of it, posters, where she plays shows, who she plays shows with, the music videos, all this, the infrastructure around her. It's just like, it's not like Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was Bob Dylan. Nobody told Bob Dylan what to do. Nobody wrote a word of his songs. And my whole point is, I could talk about Bob Dylan for a while, but like, it's just, he felt unreal to me, and it felt like the universe like birthed him. So that's my pro Jew rant of the day. He's my favorite Jew. He's my favorite. Great hair. Great.
There are a lot of good Jews to choose from, but
yeah,
he's a good one.
For sure. For sure. Anyways, so the wonders of a live stream. Let's see.
Favorite.
I bet this guy knows.
Well,
Bob
one
Dylan.
scene, I don't.
Ooh, see, that's the kind of person you might be able to meet as a famous author. Yeah.
I'm sure.
He would have a much easier, he'd have a better chance of meeting Bob Dylan than Taylor Swift, for instance. Bob Dylan does not suffer fools. I know that.
Oh man, we might not be able to say all this about Taylor Swift. Do we have like a disclaimer we can say about how like we're not trying to hurt her feelings or something?
She's watching right now. Right now.
Honestly, I don't think we really know anything about Taylor Swift. The name just like represents pop bullshit, kind of, you know. I personally don't know anything about Taylor Swift.
Right.
Like her.
Yep.
her
I mean, I would be pissed. I would be, you know, it's just one of those things where I have personal feelings about it and I'm biased and also some information. So I'm hesitant to be super hard on it. Obviously, I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift. I'm not. I don't know why she's come up. I don't know why. It's just as a, you know, I guess the point was because when we see pop figures today, it's not the same thing that got them there. And like the Beatles,
yeah.
bands don't happen like that anymore. It's not the same world. When the Beatles started playing music, it was because they loved it and it was all they wanted to do. And they moved to Germany and played nightclubs 8 hours a night and got hopped up on some old school 60s version of Adderall and were having the time of their life. And, you know, it snowballed from there. But I just mean nowadays, I think we have people who it's more of a business than an artist. And, you know, George Martin, he's an artist. He's an author and he's somebody who, maybe, literature is a different thing. Music's different. We could do a whole stream on the music industry because it's just too bad because a lot of people get into it for the wrong reasons and they stay in for the wrong reasons. They get big for the wrong reasons or don't get big for the wrong reasons. When you first joined the Discord, I had some random band playing on YouTube and it's just like some random band with like 2,000 views per video. And it's better than anything you'll hear on the radio all day. And it's all handpicked and it's just, I don't know. It's just gross. Like the whole industry has done everybody such a disservice because there's so much amazing music that is being ignored. And then really, really bad music that's just like garbage, absolute garbage, man. Megan Thee Stallion was just in She-Hulk. And I don't know. It's frustrating.
That's the world. It is the people, like George, because there are still some people that are icons in common society now, like contemporary stars that have this kind of talent, like George R.R. Martin, but it's definitely becoming more mass produced like that. There's like a formula. It's like formulaic now how they sell certain people's music out there. It's not the same kind of like authentic, like genuine, like miraculous person. You know
miraculous.
What I mean?
That's a good word for it. That's a good word for it. Miraculous. There are like miracles happening in little clubs in little cities, all over the world, and they're just. It's not what people are looking for anymore. Like Black Midi blew my mind. That's a mind-blowing band, and they've reached a certain level of notoriety, but there's a ceiling. They have a ceiling. They might have already hit it, and even though, you know, from the music is really interesting, all the bandmates are amazing musicians doing really interesting things. The lyrics, the vocals. All around, it's just so interesting. And it is miraculous. And watching the live videos of them, it's just like, I don't understand. The chances of 4 people this talented meeting and then getting along and then being able to have a creative mechanism installed, it's really hard. It's really hard to do. And it's just really rare. And it's just when I see bands like that, like I know they're not going to be on like the radio. They're not going to be on like, they might have like a 10-second little radio clip someday for like an AT&T commercial or something. But anyways, yeah, it's manufactured. That's what it is that bothers me. It's like, I think people are listening to music that it's given to them and it's like, you will listen to this. And they're just like, okay, this is what I'll listen to. And there's just so much more available. Anyways, so if we had recorded this and I was editing this to put up into Camp Divvy, I would have probably cut all this out. But here we are. What if
Coming at you live.
We got like 8 minutes left, or not even. So maybe I'll just skip. I want to see what his last question was.
Okay.
Because we got time for one more question, basically. And I'm imagining the last one would...
7 of me, and there need to be...
I'm trying to catch him when he's reading it. Oh, there's a new feature on YouTube. Oh, look at that. So you can like... Oh, no. There's a new feature on YouTube.
Well, I'm back.
Where you pulled it up and you could see all the frames?
Yeah, so you can... To do like a closer... There we go. I'd only done it once. So yeah, you
I
pull
haven't
it
seen that
up,
yet either.
and then you can see it a little closer. Here we go.
And you also see the sound file.
Oh, that's
looks
like
like
all the way back here. Yeah, yep. That's actually I thought this was sound for a while, but it's the number of times it's been replayed. So I can see here this has been replayed the most number of times. For some reason.
It is.
Story.
That's
and
cool.
I would love to,
Yeah. Yep.
love to do that.
See, it says right there, most replayed on the. So we've mentioned before, the books are. It's a situation of it's what they call the unreliable narrator, where it's like Fight Club. The person telling you the story is either they're self-deceit or they're lying to you. So the story you're being told is not actually what happened. It's an interesting device, and that's how the House of the Dragon books were written. They were written by maesters who hated the Targaryens, so it was written biased. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I remember you saying that, and I never show before. So that is an interesting perspective.
It's kind of cool. I think the show, what the show might try and do is it's the version. It's what happened. It's not a version of events. It's what actually happened. So that'll contrast the books. That would be interesting. But there's been no signs since I think literally the first episode that there's a Maester conspiracy. In the first episode, there's a couple of weird things, and then it kind of drops off. I don't know.
I know they never really explained much about that in this season. It seemed like that was going to come up more.
Maybe it will.
They didn't really.
Yeah.
Even with the Hightower situation, it was just all kind of assumed.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe next season they were jam packed with stuff, so maybe they just.
How meta do you want to get?
Maybe there's things in it that we didn't even notice, but later on, when other things are unveiled, we'll look back like, oh, that's why this happened. And
what is the truth?
Could be. I hope so. I hope that it ties in that good.
Hannibal?
I hope that it continues to be like a coherent, like it's all happening for a reason.
I hope so. I hope so. We will see. We'll see. But yeah. So we can wrap that up there. We'll give this a test. We'll see what other things I have open. Okay. Boston lab scientists created new deadly Omicron strain with an 80% kill rate. Good news, everybody. They're on top of
mice.
it. Don't worry. Yeah, it's just mice. Don't worry if this scares you. Remember science. Science. Don't you remember? Science is good. Dem-led San Francisco is slammed for plans to build one public toilet, $1.7 million, in upmarket neighborhood. So if that worries you, don't worry. Don't worry. Government good. Science good. Government good. That's our. That's all I had open. I don't know. Those have been open for like a couple weeks. This is.
Jeez.
But yeah. Anyways, we'll see how this works. I'm gonna. When I close it out, I'll check the audio and stuff and see how that went, and we'll make adjustments for the future. So we're thinking. We'll do more live streams. We'll iron this out, do more like this so we can keep, we just want to have it up quicker. And the problem with the way we were doing it before, which we'll still do that. We're still going to do it that way. I like editing. I want to keep doing it that way. It's just, it's not quick enough. We need to have our reviews up like boom, bing, bang, boom. And so we'll probably do more like this. Live streams.
This would be, this is live now, but can someone watch this later?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be on the channel.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. We'll see. So there's like, and it's just going to go up unedited.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to watch my mouth as more as possible.
And we'll see. I have heard that the live streams are more forgiving with that. Whereas with the published videos that we have been putting up, it's because it goes through a process of, and it goes through an analysis, and I think it picks up on a lot more stuff, whereas the live stream not so much. I've heard that early on in the live streams you want to be easy on it, and then later on it doesn't really matter as much. I don't know. I think it's all subjective to what the channel is, honestly. I think the YouTube terms of service, which I'm more than happy to oblige. I'm not trying to be a punk, but I do think they're not equally applied across all channels. I know there's channels on here that we could go find that have way longer clips than we had in our last video. And they're like, oh my God, this scene's so good. And I just love the show. And so the people are going to be more friendly with content that is just like praising something. And we have we've had our moments like that for sure. But also when we've had things we didn't like, we said it. And some channels don't do that. They just straight up don't do that. They were like, they want the early access. They want to be friends with these people. I don't like these people. Like, I like some of the content they put out, but like, I don't want to meet the writers of the show. No, I don't want to go to like some premiere ever, like 3-4 years from now. We've got like a good channel going. Get an invite to go to like, okay, that reminds me. I have a good idea for the next video. The next video, we're going to watch the early access of the Lord of the Rings show. We're not going to watch the Lord of the Rings show. We're going to watch the promotional they put out and the people they had over to watch the first episode like a month before it came out. And
that sounds good.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. So, yeah. All right. We'll end it here. What do you have to, what do you have to tell our audience?
Until